Every day, companies pour millions into digital campaigns, social feeds, and email blasts. It's an endless stream of corporate communication that your stakeholders scroll past in seconds, and then it's gone. Even when information makes it into the physical world, it usually takes the form of flimsy brochures or dry annual reports. They lack the gravitas to command attention, which means they almost always end up in the recycling bin before the week is out. When companies realize they need a permanent record, they often gather up all their old pictures and create what is essentially a corporate photo album. It is highly chronological and deeply personal to the founders, but it lacks the narrative structure needed to engage an outside investor. The alternative is a premium coffee table book. Think of it as an offline website. It is a large format, highly curated physical asset built explicitly for public display, engineered to sit in high-value environments with a shelf life measured in years, not days. But a book does not command respect just because it contains nice pictures. That level of authority is the direct result of strict underlying visual engineering. That engineering starts with the photography itself. A true coffee table book requires a print-first capture strategy. A photograph that looks sharp on a glowing smartphone screen will often fall apart when stretched across a 12-inch physical page. To survive that transition, the image capture must prioritize absolute detail retention. Whether it is the complex machinery of an industrial plant, the fabric texture of a product, or a close-up executive portrait, the raw file must hold its structural integrity even when blown up to a massive full bleed spread. Look closely at this side-by-side visual. This chart illustrates why corporate environments, with their bright windows and dark shadows, require high dynamic range, or HDR workflows. On the left, a standard capture loses data and pixelates as we scale it up. On the right, the HDR composite retains precise data in both the deepest shadows and the brightest highlights, allowing the image to scale indefinitely without losing clarity. Once you achieve that technical quality, you have to replicate it everywhere. We call this visual consistency. If a company operates a factory in Mumbai and an office in London, the lighting, exposure, and color discipline must be controlled so tightly that both locations look like they belong to the exact same visual universe. This publication-grade approach strips away the everyday chaos of corporate operations. It takes hundreds of disparate, messy data points across a company and forces them into a singular, premium visual narrative. Once the imagery is locked, we move to the editorial phase. And this is where we have to dispel a major myth. Book design is not about making pages look pretty. Look at this layout structure. A premium book is governed by an invisible architecture. It relies on rigid grid rules, strict margin logic, and highly specific typography pairing to create a mathematical framework that holds the reader's eye in place. Within that framework, we apply image sequencing. The layout creates a calculated psychological rhythm. We might open a chapter with a massive full-page wide shot to establish scale, drop down to a medium shot showing human action, and then snap to a tiny macro detail to focus the reader's attention. Text is treated with extreme strategic restraint. Instead of heavy paragraphs that people won't read, we use minimal, highly meaningful captions that anchor the photographs and provide exact context without overwhelming the visual flow. This invisible design discipline dictates the exact pace at which someone flips through the pages. It forces the reader to slow down, stop on key spreads, and fully absorb the authority of the brand. Visual engineering is only half the equation. The final step is physical production, where the tactile dimensions of the book become just as crucial as what is printed on the pages. Corporate storytelling requires large formats, typically square or landscape orientations, to maximize impact. To ensure those massive images aren't swallowed by the center crease, the book must be engineered with lay-flat bindings, allowing full bleed spreads to stretch completely uninterrupted across the table. Every material choice adds physical heft. We use dense, premium paperweights measured in high-GSM, thick hardcover boards, and tailored surface finishes. Combined, these elements create a distinct, undeniable heaviness when you pick the book up. This triggers a direct psychological translation. When global buyers, partners, or investors feel the physical weight and flawless construction of the book in their hands, their brains instinctively equate that tactile stability with the financial and operational stability of the company itself. That is why the final habitat for these volumes is always a high-stakes environment. You will find them resting on executive boardroom tables, anchoring international exhibition booths, and forming the core of premium investor kits. Once placed, the book operates completely autonomously. It acts as a silent ambassador, communicating the sheer scale and seriousness of an organization before a single word of a meeting is spoken. Compare that permanent physical presence to the endless digital noise that consumes nearly every other marketing budget. A digital ad vanishes in seconds. A well-crafted book stays on the table for decades. By combining uncompromising publication-grade visuals with disciplined layout design, a company can elevate its everyday industrial processes into an enduring historical record. True brand authority is still something you can hold in your hands.